morning, Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt to the Point, live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios. I'm Andrew Mundy.
And I'm Maggie McLeod. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning.
April Fools.
Actually, I'm Andrew Mundy.
And I'm Maggie McLeod. We'll be your new anchors over the course of the next month.
We'll be covering everything going on at the University of Pittsburgh, all the way to the point. Join us as we cover entertainment, politics, and sports, as well as what's happening right here on Pitt's campus.
And for those of you working from home, keep those PJs on, hop on that Zoom call, and then promptly mute yourself so your boss can't hear you watching your favorite news source, Pitt to the Point.
We are getting you all ready to start your Pittsburgh day off right. Now, first, we're very excited to introduce our guest, Pitt graduate and political reporter who is currently covering Capitol Hill, Annie Klingenberg, live from D.C.
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Annie. Thank you so much for meeting with us this morning.
Absolutely.
So firstly, I wanted to discuss the Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and what makes her stand out to politicians.
I think what lawmakers have been echoing, specifically Democratic lawmakers, is the abundance of experience she has at different levels of federal district judges and court judges. So I think the main point they've been talking about is just the experience she has and also the representation she will provide for lots of people in the country who have never seen themselves reflected in a Supreme Court judge before. Those are probably the main points that Democrats have been saying in favor of Judge Jackson.
And I know that Joe Biden is obviously very much in support for her, but the Pew Research Center shows that 58% of Republicans say Jackson should not be confirmed by the Senate. Does this statistic shock you, and why or why not?
Certainly not. I think that it was expected not a lot of Republicans would support any of Biden's nominees, regardless of what position it's for, certainly a lifetime position like the Supreme Court. However, this past week, Judge Jackson did receive her first vote of GOP support from Senator Susan Collins of Maine. So she will be receiving at least a little GOP support, but it's not likely she'll receive much more.
And I know that she was being asked many questions, including from Senator Marsha Blackburn, who asked Judge Jackson to define the word woman in context of a quote from the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Can you expand on what's happening after she asked? And do you think that was an appropriate question for Jackson?
Sure. So Judge Jackson faced over 13 hours of questioning from both sides of the aisle. I think that when Supreme Court nominees face these kinds of questioning, it's going to range from all kinds of questions. They're allowed to ask anything, the senators on the Judiciary Committee. So I think it was expected that there would be some maybe a little unorthodox questions, especially from the GOP side, who are going to be much more critical of the nominee, Judge Jackson. So I don't really have a specific comment on that question in particular. I just know that she did answer it thoroughly, and I think satisfied at least the Democrats on the panel. I'm not sure if Senator Blackburn was satisfied with her answer or not.
Okay, I wanted to touch on the Ukraine and Russia conflict really fast. What do you think will happen next as it pertains to that conflict and what you're hearing at the Capitol?
So I think it's hard for me to say. I'm not a national security expert by any means, but what the sentiment that's been echoed here on Capitol Hill at the very least is it's one of the only issues that has a lot of bipartisan support. If you think back to the State of the Union a few weeks ago, you saw all lawmakers from both sides of the aisle standing, applauding, trying to show support for Ukraine. When I've spoken to GOP lawmakers about it, the main sentiments that they have suggested is that while they don't, they agree with the overall support for Ukraine, they don't necessarily agree with everything that President Biden is doing or the timelines in which he's been accomplishing things. So it does depend on what lawmaker you talk to on where we're headed next. But I think overall, the support for Ukraine and the abundance for it will continue at the very least.
Okay, Annie, thank you so much for your time. Really a lot of helpful insight into the political world this morning.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Now, born and raised in Pittsburgh, Senator Costa was elected Senate Democratic leader in 2010 and is currently our Pennsylvania state senator representing the 43rd District. Before his election to the Senate, he was even a deputy sheriff in Allegheny County. Fast forward to now, where outside of his legislative career, he serves on board of trustees at the University of Pittsburgh and is treasurer of the Community College of Allegheny County Board. And we're fortunate enough to have Jay Costa live with our political reporter, Josh Byrne. Josh?
Thank you, Andrew and Maggie. Senator Costa, welcome to Pitt to the Point.
Thank you very much. This is exciting. I'm happy to be here with all of you.
Happy to have you. Now, one of the hottest topics in urban centers across the country is gentrification. And that's something that is undergoing in your district as we speak. Specifically, the Walnut Capitol Oakland Crossings project in the Pitt community.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the possible ramifications for the future of this local neighborhood?
So I think we always have to be cognizant of any type of development along those lines. And I was pleased that Mayor Gainey sort of put a pause to that to kind of go back and reflect what needed to be done as we went forward. This is an issue that pops up in many neighborhoods across Pittsburgh, the Oakland section, for example, for sure, but East Liberty and some other places. It's got to be part of our conversation. We have to take steps to prevent that from happening. Oakland in particular has many neighborhoods within the Fourth Ward within Oakland, and they get a long history of having really strong community, vibrant communities that are really important. We don't want to do anything that's going to destroy that, to force people out of those communities. They're the fabric of the communities, and they've been here a long time, and we've got to make certain that we take the appropriate steps to be able to bring things together and let things integrate together well so that we're not forcing people out.
Now, Senator, you've been in office longer than I've been alive.
That's right.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
That
You
is
survived.
quite an accomplishment. So, what is the biggest change in the political climate of Pennsylvania today versus when you took over back in the 90s?
Partisanship. I think it's really gotten very hostile in legislatures. Not only we always knew Washington always had some issues along those lines, but over the course of the past 6 or 8 years, it's moved its way up to Harrisburg, and we've become very, very divided and very harsh towards one another. Where in the past we were able to work together and get things done, and work in a bipartisan way. The level of bipartisanship doesn't exist as much as it did in the past, and the nature of the conflicts are nasty, more so than they were years past. And I think so. My work is as leader of the party of the Democrats in Harrisburg is to be able to work through that, and we sometimes do a good job. In the Senate, I think we do a better job than our colleagues in the House, and I think that works out well for us.
Now, Senator, you are the minority leader of the Pennsylvania State Senate. What does the Democratic Party need to do to take back the majority in the Commonwealth?
Well, I think it already started with the whole redistricting process. And former Chancellor Nordenberg was a part of that conversation. And now we have fair maps that reflect the people of Pennsylvania and voting patterns along those lines. So that's step one. So we got to go recruit candidates up for election, and they got to be successful. That'll allow us the opportunity to have more balance what needs to be done. But we need to speak to the people. We need to be able to communicate to the voters in Pennsylvania this particular year, this cycle, that the candidates we have represent the views that they stand for and things they'd like us to address. That's our challenge. But it relates to a lot of the things that need to be done going forward, making sure we're talking about investments in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in education, higher education in particular, to ensure that those will be some of the major things we'll talk about as we go forward, growing jobs and things of that nature.
Now, Senator, infrastructure in Pittsburgh today is heavily talked about, of course, with the bridge collapse last month. How can the city prevent that kind of thing from ever happening again?
Well, I think it's going to be important for us to recognize where our problem spots are. For example, our bridges, we need to do another round of assessments of the quality of the bridges. We did that a number of years ago when we passed Act 89. We did an assessment of bridges all over the Commonwealth and determined that there were a significant number that were either weight limited or closed. That had an impact on our economy. And what we have to do is to ensure that we go do an assessment to provide what needs to be done so we know where we need to, and then we need to have the resources, the investment made both at the city level, the county level, and at the state level as well. Now, we know the federal government is providing resources in the infrastructure bill. We have to be very thoughtful and very strategic and to make certain that we are addressing the infrastructure needs of the bridges and the roadways that are most problematic, because some of the issues certainly impacts our economy when you close bridges. When folks can't get product to the market, for example, but also as it relates to safety, and those are things we have to look at.
Senator, thank you for your time and coming on to the show today.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with you.
For Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Joshua Byrne. Andrew and Maggie.
Thanks so much for that, Josh. And to reiterate what he said, thank you, Senator Costa, for coming in to speak with us this morning.
Now, don't go anywhere, because coming up, we have your medical minute as well as the latest on the Pitt beat, including a live interview with recent University of Pittsburgh graduate Trey Tipton to discuss a local event focused on raising awareness for mental health.
So stick around for more to come on Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
H2P is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song, but we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Room.
To WPTS Radio.
Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill.
To Hillman Library.
Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt.
Hello, and welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
And now for your medical minute, we'll head over to our medical reporter, Sarah Sirignano. Sarah, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. This past Monday, the University of Pittsburgh had its first mask-optional school day. Students and staff are encouraged to still wear a mask if they choose to do so, but it is no longer required inside campus buildings. Our Medical Minute team spoke with some students to get their feelings on this new update. Let's take a look.
I think it's an interesting choice. I thought it was, I don't want to say necessarily abrupt, but there's no other way of like tapering it, essentially.
I think it's an interesting decision. I think most of the campus at this point is vaccinated, at least from what they say. And, there's more and more research about like whether masks help like prevent you spreading it or not spreading it. So.
In my foreign language classes, it's very helpful to be able to see the professor, see their mouth and their lips moving. And in my other classes, I'm not too concerned. Some people are wearing masks and some people are not, and I don't have a problem either way.
Me personally, I'm kind of curious to see what happens with cases. I'm still kind of cautious in like big lecture halls, and in the elevator of my dorm, just spaces where it's not very easy to social distance. But I mean, the truth is that at least in Pennsylvania, case numbers are low, and the weather's hot. So the conditions for not spreading COVID are kind of here. But I'm curious to see what happens.
While COVID-19 mandates continue to shift here at the University of Pittsburgh and across the state of Pennsylvania, your Pitt to the Point Medical Minute will continue to keep you guys updated. For the Medical Minute, I'm Sarah Sirignano. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that update, Sarah.
Up next, we're proud to collaborate with the Pitt News to share their highlight stories of the week.
Take a look.
Effective as of last Monday, masks at the University of Pittsburgh are no longer required for staff and students, but optional moving forward. Pitt asks that all students and staff remain respectful of each other's decisions. Pitt Wrestling sent 6 wrestlers to the NCAA Championships in Detroit. Hoping for better results, the only wrestler to place was redshirt junior out of Greenville, Cole Matthews. Cole entered the tournament red hot, coming in as the 6th seed and wrestling all the way to the semifinals where he lost to Keyshawn Clark from North Carolina. Cole's 5th place finish was the highest among Panthers, as it was a bit of a disappointing week for some of their returning tournament qualifiers. 5 of their 6 wrestlers made it past the first round, but Cole was the only one who took home some hardware.
That Pitt has finally released its long-awaited climate action plan detailing how the university plans to go carbon neutral by 2037. And so fossil-free Pitt is basically saying that it's not enough because the plan does not include divestment from fossil fuel industries, and that carbon neutrality is kind of like a way to hide behind that fact that they are not currently divesting in fossil fuels.
A big thank you to all of those at Pitt News for their amazing coverage of everything happening on campus.
Now to our next segment with Pitt Beat reporter Chase Murphy, covering how you can take care of your mental health through just this one event. Chase?
Thanks, Maggie and Andrew. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is hosting an Out of Darkness walk at the University of Pittsburgh tomorrow, April 2nd, the first time the event has come to Pitt. Starting at 10 a.m., the walk will be held at Shenley Plaza in Oakland.
The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, or AFSP, has been hosting Out of Darkness walks for years with the goal of raising awareness and funds that allow AFSP to invest in new research, create educational programs, advocate for public policy, and support survivors of suicide loss. They host community, campus, and overnight walks, and tomorrow will be the first time the event will be coming to the University of Pittsburgh campus. The events have become extremely popular, and as the leader in the fight against suicide, AFSP has been able to set a goal to reduce the annual suicide rate 20% by 2025. Pitt's Out of Darkness walk will be open for registration and check-in at 10 a.m. tomorrow in Shenley Plaza, with opening ceremonies being held at 11 a.m. At the event, there will be tables with mental health professionals available for counseling, activities to promote mental health awareness, snacks and drinks, speakers, and more. The funds raised at the walk will help bring suicide prevention and mental health educational programs directly to Pitt's campus and community, while also funding important research, advocacy, and support at a national level.
One of the speakers at the opening ceremonies will be Pitt's very own Trey Tipton, who we have with us in the studio today. Trey was recognized by ESPN as college football's most inspirational player when he was awarded with the Disney Spirit Award in November 2021. And is embarking on a career as an inspirational speaker so that he can bring his message of hope to others. Trey, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to have you in the studio with us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
So as I said before, you won the Disney Spirit Award last year for being college football's most inspirational player. What did that feel like and what did it mean to you?
It was amazing, man. I felt like I was finally doing the things that I love to do. And then now, only on top of that, it got to the point where I felt like everything that I put in and all the work that I put in to try to help people was starting to be noticed. And that was huge for me. And I couldn't really put it into words on how thankful I was for Disney to give me the opportunity to win that award.
Yeah, and it must be an honor to be able to speak at the Out of Darkness walk tomorrow. So what kind of things do you want to highlight and talk about at that walk?
I'm just going to talk about my story, man. That's the biggest thing right now, and that's what ended up winning me the award, was just to talk about my story and then also talk about mental prosperity and impact. And I feel like that's one of the two things that I'm really good at talking about. So I'm going to go in a little bit in depth about my story and then have fun with it.
Awesome, man. And so you're a recent graduate of Pitt School of Social Work.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, that's helping others, and that's what you care so much about. So what was that program like, and how do you wish to use what you learned in that program in the future?
Oh, man, it just helps you learn about people. You know, it tells you everything that you need to know. Then on top of that, it's one of those places where it's a tough major. So you have to really pay attention. You have to take time to learn. You have to really try to understand what type of different definitions and vocabulary that they're really using, because that's what makes it different. It's things that we've always known, but the vocabulary is different. So it took time for me to get that. But overall, I love the school social work.
And congrats on graduating, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So what's next for Trey Tipton?
Honestly, it's just going to be me training for the NFL draft, and then whatever happens after that, we're good to go.
That's awesome. I had the opportunity to be at the Pitt Pro Day and snap some pictures of you, and you look great out there. We wish you the best of luck with all your future endeavors, and thanks for being on the show with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
We'll be talking a lot about moving and grooving on the dance floor after the break, starting with the hip-hop group Controlled Chaos.
And if you want to find out about the results of this year's Pitt Dance Marathon, stick around to find out how much money was raised while students boogied the night away. Stay right here on Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Now we are going to be tossing to the Clubbing at Pitt segment. Casey Orwig has the story. Casey?
Controlled Chaos is a hip-hop dance club at Pitt who has danced all the way to opening for Flo Milli at Bigelow Bash. From their annual showcase to preparing for the Bash, this semester has been busy. I met with the club's president, Leah Bartle, to discuss all things Controlled Chaos.
Controlled Chaos, Pitt's student-run hip-hop group, went virtual just one semester after current president Leah Bartle joined. That is, until this year.
It was definitely tough to arrange things all over Zoom when so much of what we do is based on interaction with our other dancers and being able to move bodies around and see how things look in person. So it definitely felt a lot better to be able to get in person again and remember how to dance well, because I think over Zoom a lot of people felt like they were missing out on something. It's been a learning curve for sure. As president, I had to relearn a lot of things about how it worked when we're bringing things back in person. But it's also been really great because we've kind of been able to rebuild a dance community with a lot of people who didn't know about Controlled Chaos. We have people from all different majors, years, from different places, all from different backgrounds of dance. Some people have done hip hop for their whole lives. Some of us have done it a little bit. Some people haven't done hip hop much at all. And it's been really great. I just like having the time to come here and dance. Dancing is one of my favorite things to do, and I'll know I'll be sad when I graduate and don't get to do it pretty much every day.
Coming off of a huge performance at their annual showcase, Controlled Chaos now prepares for their next big event.
And then on April 10th, we are performing at Bigelow Bash as the student openers for Flo Milli, and we auditioned with the Pitt Program Council to do that, and we are so excited. We're in prep mode for that, so we are figuring out what we want to do for the act, how we might be able to get all the students involved, and we're really appreciative that we have an opportunity, and maybe hope Flo Milli notices us, maybe wants to hire us to be background dancers, who knows.
Now, whether you're looking to learn the hip-hop basics or you're ready to perform, you can find Controlled Chaos at controlledchaos_Pitt on Instagram. And don't miss it, Controlled Chaos will be performing at Bigelow Bash. See you there, April 10th. With Clubbing at Pitt, I'm Casey Orwig. Maggie, Andrew.
Thanks, Casey. Not to brag, but I can do a solid jazz square. So Controlled Chaos, if you need a backup dancer, I'm your girl.
Or your guy, I can do the robot.
Let me see it.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Not bad.
And now on to one of our most incredible student-run events of the year, the Pittsburgh Dance Marathon.
Our own Pitt Panthers danced the day away to collect funds and raise awareness for the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation. Every dollar raised goes to UPMC Children's. This 12-hour dance marathon took place March 26th and included a number of music and games. The participants got to join in the different themed hours of fun. Some of the most exciting themes included Vacation Hour, Disney Hour, and even TikTok Hour. And there was even a poetry reading and a variety of fun sports and games, including dodgeball and spikeball. Not to mention, there was a human tunnel, which led to the stage for the kids to run through. Talk about a fabulous entrance.
This year, PDM had a record-breaking year, coming to a grand total of $366,817.32. Really an amazing job to everyone. And thank you to everyone who donated. In other news, Pitt football coach Pat Narduzzi has just signed a new Panther Pact through the year 2030. Our Pitt sports reporter, Tori Pushman, has that and more. Tori?
Thank you, Andrew. Pitt's championship-winning football coach is going to be here for the long run. Head coach Pat Narduzzi signed a 9-year deal that'll ensure that he will remain with the program through 2030. The financial terms of the contract were not disclosed. The extension was not a surprise. Coach Narduzzi had led the Pitt program to an ACC championship victory last season on the heels of breakout performances from players like quarterback Kenny Pickett and wide receiver Jordan Addison. Despite the Peach Bowl loss, the program is entering spring football looking to do it again.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the only way you gauge that is how they practice. Do they think they're too good now to practice? Do they want to, have a different attitude? So, again, the attitude has been, let's go to work. So that's how I gauge it. We don't talk a lot about it. So I should say we don't talk about it at all. We'll talk about it. We hope the rings are here on the spring game. So maybe we'll talk about it a little bit that day. Have a breakfast with all the parents and families in the morning and give those out.
Yeah, 100%. Coach Salem, Coach Stack, Coach Sig, Coach Narduzzi, whoever it is, they've been there for me. I go to them all the time with questions. What can I work on? How can I get this? How can I put on weight? Whatever it is, they're there. So
just try to keep winning. That's the goal, is to win every Saturday afternoon.
As spring training continues, Pitt football has announced that its blue and gold game will be played on Saturday, April 9th. Pitt to the Point will be covering that game and the rest of Pitt sports as teams get ready for the fall season. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Tori Pushman. Andrew, Maggie?
Thank you for that, Tori. Now, you're not going to want to go anywhere. Coming up after the break, we have a special interview with our friends from the Pittsburgh Zoo.
So stick around on Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
Now we go to our city beat reporter, Jamie Ely, to talk about an important charity that received quite a generous donation. Jamie?
A Hazelwood-based nonprofit received the gift of a lifetime from one of the richest people in the world. Center of Life was one of nearly 300 organizations to receive a donation from billionaire Mackenzie Scott, ex-wife of Jeff Bezos. And it looks like her donation is going to be a saving grace for the organization. Center of Life, which provides services to the underserved community and K-12 students in Hazelwood, was a recipient of part of $2.74 billion in donations Mrs. Scott announced on her blog this past summer. In her post, Scott said she chose organizations that focused on community-centered services and nonprofit teams that serve areas that have been underfunded and overlooked. Despite the fact that Center of Life will not disclose the amount they received, they called the gift transformational in a statement. The organization, which is turning 20 this year, said the gift will go towards the continuation of its after-school programs. This includes athletics, academic support, and music. There is also a separate program within the organization that delivers meals to the Hazelwood community, launched in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the pandemic, Center of Life has continued to help the Hazelwood community. Now that restrictions are loosening, this donation is helping to fund, among other things, a social justice resource center. Center of Life said this donation came at a pivotal time in the history of the organization, as well as the country. They said it shows a commitment and call to action from those more fortunate to bring about change. This change, they say, is certain to better the lives of disadvantaged Hazelwood residents for years to come. Center of Life is one of 2 organizations in Western PA to have benefited from a donation. The Advancing Black Arts in Pittsburgh initiative announced they received a $2 million grant from her as well. With these donations, Scott is helping make Pittsburgh a better and more equitable place to live. If you would like to help Center of Life's mission, you can donate on their website at centeroflife.org. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Jamie Ely. Maggie, Andrew.
Thank you so much for that, Jamie. Now, we're sitting here with Henry Kasperzik, and we're sitting here with little armadillo. What's his name?
This is Doro. Doro is a 3-banded armadillo. We're from Pittsburgh Zoo.
Yeah.
I don't want people thinking I got a pet armadillo. But it's a pretty unique animal. One of the the things that these animals are famous for. Not all armadillos can do this. A 3-banded can ball up, and if you look, it's like a puzzle piece is fitting in there.
Yeah.
Their head, their tail, and they can lock down and protect themselves and lay in a ball like that and prevent themselves from being predated.
And where do these armadillos originate from?
This one is from South America, southwest Brazil, going into Paraguay and those areas. So there's about 20 different species of armadillos. And the one that you find in Texas, Florida is the 9-banded. They won't be able to roll up like that. But so there are a number of different armadillos. This guy's maybe a 3-pounder. There's a giant armadillo that goes about 5 feet.
Oh my gosh. How much does it weigh? Do you know?
I've never worked with one. I couldn't tell you the weight.
Pretty huge.
It's pretty big.
Pretty big.
So we see Duro rolled up in a ball right now. Are armadillos typically shy animals?
Well, they're nocturnal and they're solitary. So yeah, I would call them shy animals. They'll come out at night and feed on termites and ants. They have sharp claws for digging. The 3-banded actually is not that great of a digger, which is interesting because almost all armadillos are. They use their claws for digging into maybe a termite nest, but most armadillos dig burrows. These guys will take somebody else's burrow because they put less energy into all that.
Right. And I know I've mistaken the anteater from Arthur, if you know that show,
Yes.
as an armadillo. Is he at all related to anteaters?
They are related to anteaters distantly, but some people say closely, but they're not that close. But yeah, they are related. They're in the same grouping, yes.
And how old is he?
So he is, I think, 8 now. He's getting up there in age. Typically they may live into, early teens, 15, 14, or something like that. They don't expend a lot of energy. They actually keep their body temperature pretty cool. Typical mammals have a higher body temperature than a lot of animals. These guys will range like 95, 97 degrees. So it's a little different than most mammals in that regard. Being that they don't keep as warm, they actually age better.
Oh.
So sun's no good. Just put
Yeah.
your sunscreen on.
Put the sunscreen on. And sorry, go ahead.
I know you said in the wild they like to prey on insects and just bugs in general. At the zoo, do they have like a structured diet regimen?
They do. We have all of our animals have a structured diet, very intense diet. I oversee the production of all, purchasing for all the food and the diet preparation. That being said, these guys get a small pelleted diet called insectivore. That's an insect eater and insectivorous animal. And they also eat some fruits and some vegetables. They will in the wild as well. In the wild, they may come upon some carrion, some dead animals, and sometimes eat them, a little bit to supplement the protein. So they pretty much can eat anything, but their main diet in the wild would be insects.
And he doesn't look too vicious. Would he ever be vicious?
No, the only thing they won't use them on us, but they could scratch with their claws, but it wouldn't be vicious. They don't have the dental structure we have. They don't even actually have enamel on their teeth. Their teeth are soft, so they have the dentin, the softer tooth, and they don't use it for biting. Maybe clenching up a little bit of the chitinous shells of the insects, but that's about it.
And where can we go to donate to little armadillos?
You can go to Pittsburgh Zoo.
.com?
And .donate, I think.
Okay.
.org, yeah, donate. There we
Awesome.
go. I have to look at because I donate right directly to the zoo. I don't actually go online.
Okay. Thank you.
But we encourage everybody to come out. It's a great time to come out springtime.
Yep.
All right. Well, Henry Duro, thank you very much for being here. Now we have a package about apes that are being studied for their advanced cognitive abilities. We have our own Maggie McLeod covering the story.
The Pittsburgh Zoo's latest research may just evolve into a real-life Planet of the Apes, or provide crucial information on the intelligence of some of their tiniest primates. Gina Munir, a primatologist and visiting researcher at the Pittsburgh Zoo, has been studying small ape cognition on the Siamang gibbons while juggling her many other responsibilities caring for them.
Basically, I have a computer touchscreen monitor that I will wheel up to their enclosure, and I have different cognitive tasks that are on there. So basically what I do is there's different cognitive tasks that they will see, and I have them complete those just like you would play on your iPad. They do on their on this touchscreen, and I collect that data and then I compare it to other studies done with other apes and even small human children.
Munir's inspiration to study Siamangs began when she was just starting out as an intern at the Pittsburgh Zoo. Leela, the first Siamang she ever worked with, quickly won over her heart during one of their first interactions.
She was the reason why I fell in love with these guys.
Yeah.
I watched how smart she was, and I gave her a puzzle box, and she intricately just tried to solve it and got it open. And then I gave one to Merlin, and he just picked it up and threw it against the wall.
Inspired by Leela's puzzle-solving skills, Munir decided to delve deeper into understanding the extent of the Siamang's intelligence.
But I just remember watching her, and I was like, wow, look how intelligent she is. And I went home and I was, Googling and looking on Google Scholar. I was 19 at this point. I didn't know very much. And I was like, there's nothing on these guys. Why is there no cognitive research or anything?
That day, Munir had a light bulb moment that changed the course of her career.
Right then, it just clicked, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, is I'm going to prove these guys are awesome and they're smart.
After the break, we'll be discussing some of the fastest created art you may ever witness. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The University Store on 5th is more than a college bookstore. We are independently owned and operated by the university, and we've been that way for more than 100 years. The consistent campus support allows us to respond to the changing needs of our customers, provide personalized service and quality merchandise, support the university's initiatives, and represent Pitt with Panther pride.
The U-Store has all the course materials that you need. Whether you want to purchase or rent your books, or you're interested in digital materials, we can help.
Looking for the latest tech and accessories? We carry all the biggest brands. As an Apple authorized campus store, you will receive the best in educational pricing on your favorite Apple products. Plus, our repair center and student technical support are conveniently located in the store and are ready to get your tech back in working order.
Visit us to shop the latest Pitt apparel, school supplies, and the largest independent book selection in the city, all without leaving campus. And when it comes to services, visit the Center for Creativity, which offers members of the Pitt community a space to engage their hands and minds.
It's easy to shop online and pick up in store. We accept financial aid and Panther funds for your convenience. At the U-Store, we put pride in everything that we do so that you can put Panther pride in everything that you do. So stop by today and let us help you.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh. Forge ahead.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point, your number one source for Pittsburgh news.
Up next, we'll hear from our entertainment reporter, Margot Rensel. Margot?
If you tuned in to the Peach Bowl a few short months ago, you may have noticed a man there speed painting. That man's name is Cody Sable, a local Pittsburgh artist that specializes in speed painting with his fingers.
As a Pennsylvania native, Sable got his start in art as a child.
I had seen somebody do a speed painting performance when I was a kid, and because I saw that, it made me want to see if I could try my hand at it. So it was something that I saw, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can try that. And so it wasn't something that I discovered that I was good at, but it was something that I discovered that I wanted to do because there was something about the atmosphere to it, the adrenaline, the anxiety of trying to create something in front of people in a short amount of time, the sort of, I guess just sort of the performance aspect of it, I really fell in love with.
Sable has painted for many sports teams and professional athletes across the country. He has been featured on Monday Night Football and has painted cleats for athletes such as the Watt brothers, Chase Claypool, Ben Roethlisberger, and Cam Hayward. Sable also painted at Penn State Thon in 2020, a 24-hour charity dance marathon, which he cites as one of his favorite events. Now, if you're a Pitt football fan, you may have seen Cody painting former Pitt quarterback Dan Marino and current Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett at the Peach Bowl this past December.
I would definitely say the Peach Bowl was my favorite experience live. Some of the people that I got to meet that night, like, EJ Manuel and some of the people from the ACC network, Mark Wright, the amazing college football coach for many, many years. It was just an amazing experience.
Obviously, Cody is a really talented individual, and I just want to thank him for taking the time to work with us here at Pitt to the Point. If you want to see more of Cody's work, you can head over to his Instagram at Cody Sable Art. I would also like to thank Molly Hunter, our entertainment reporter, who couldn't be here with us today for the story. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Margot Rensel. Andrew, Maggie?
Thank you for that incredible story, Margot.
Now, don't go anywhere because coming up, we have our weekly alumni spotlight where we highlight University of Pittsburgh graduates that stand out in the community.
And then next, hear about a club that might just run past you in the blink of an eye. All of that and more coming up on Pitt to the Point.
is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song. But we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Room.
To WPTS Radio.
Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill.
To Hillman Library. Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. This week, our alumni spotlight highlights the journey of Pitt graduate Jerry Suzette Price, owner of a booming cake shop in Southern Florida, the Cake Suzette.
Hi, my name is Jerry Suzette Price. I am the owner of the Cake Suzette. We are a small boutique specialty cake business here in Southwest Florida. I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh in the 80s. I majored in economics. I landed a wonderful job on Wall Street. I traveled extensively throughout the United States, Europe, and the Middle East. And shortly thereafter, I was married to a wonderful man, and I could not travel as much as I had. So I was able to do something that I truly love. And then when we moved to Florida, Cake Suzette really took off, and it became something even more special. I think I was just inspired by the warm weather and the ocean and the beautiful flowers that just grow so organically here in Florida. My style just changed and evolved, and it just became so different and so beautiful. And I was fortunate enough to be featured in Naples Illustrated magazine. And from that, I got a lot of business and a lot of recognition, as I've never really advertised. We are beginning to think about how we can grow and develop. We're going to lean towards a venture capital perspective to grow this business, and I'm super excited about that.
A great story and a great businesswoman. If you want to learn more about the Cake Suzette, you can read more about her store and her story on our website, www.pittothepoint.com.
Now, coming up after the break, we'll hear from our city sports reporter as he highlighted a unique athletic club that has members from all across the city. Stay right here on Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. I'm City Sports reporter David Altman. The City of Bridges Run Club provides a great way of exercise and an even greater sense of community for people of all ages across the Pittsburgh area. Last weekend, I had the pleasure of sitting down with the president and founder who started the club during the pandemic and opened up about the struggles she faced launching at such a trying time.
I think I'm most proud of overcoming, we started this club in the pandemic and the height of the pandemic. So I'm really proud to see how far we've come so fast. And I think that because of the mission of our club, I feel like we're not just a running club. We also give back to the community.
The club serves not only as a community that provides for the members within itself, but provides for other communities as well, raising over $5,000 for organizations such as Urban Impact Foundation, National Down Syndrome Society, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and more. Kim wanted to emphasize that it's not just about the running, but the friendships you make along the way.
The thing that motivates me the most is seeing all of our runners come together from all walks of life. Like truly Saturday mornings are one of my most favorite days of the week because we'll have about 150 runners come together.
The City of Bridges Run Club is home to many Pitt alum. Jonathan Kovacs is a former pharmacy major and is one of many who experienced a positive impact from running with the club.
I mean, it's huge, absolutely huge. So it just in terms of my running, I went from being very inconsistent and, kind of getting out there when the weather was nice, which in Pittsburgh is, not the easiest thing, to being far more consistent. Always having people to run with is hugely motivating to get out there even when it's snowing. And my times have improved. My distance per week has improved immensely. Yeah. And then just from a social aspect too, again, I work from home. It's challenging during the pandemic not seeing people, and I'm definitely a people person. So making friends, I've only been with the group for 4 months. I've made a lot of friends here who I consider friends even outside of the club. So it's been just a great experience overall.
The City of Bridges Run Club meets every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. across the Pittsburgh area. Tomorrow, they're meeting at Bakery Square. Now, early morning runs aren't my thing, but early morning croissants sure are. From Pitt to the Point, I'm your City Sports reporter, David Altman. Andrew, Maggie?
Thanks for that great story on Run Club. The only running I'll be doing is from those crazy smart miniature apes when they take over the planet.
And I'm going to keep running away from my problems. And just a reminder to those working from home that you're still on that Zoom call and your boss has been trying to get your attention for the past hour.
And as always, we want to thank our sponsors. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm Maggie McLeod.
And I'm Andrew Mundy.
And we're here from Pitt to the Point.